Back's a pretty weak body part for you, hey?
Yeah, 100%. So back and chest were my main 2 weak points that they pretty much said need a wider and a thicker back and just a thicker chest. So
don't we all, man? Let's do some pulling, man. We'll keep it simple.
Kill me.
You know, pulling is like, you know how to push yourself. You can go to the pain cave.
Yes, the pain tolerance.
And to be perfectly honest, I don't even know if there's much I'm going to teach you. You know, because you've
always
got a lot of muscle mass. So
always open to learning.
Let's just train and just see what starts coming about. But if you like unilateral, let's go unilateral to begin with.
Let's do it, for sure.
Actually, you know what? I don't know if you're going to be able to get a stretch.
Fuck.
Because I'm here and you're tall.
Oh yeah,
you
true.
actually have, height on me. We'll see. If we need to, we'll get that bench involved.
Yeah, for sure.
But this here is already that's bottomed out.
That's not too bad. I can sort of hinge back a bit more.
Pretty bad, brother. Pretty fucking bad. Let's get the bench in.
Okay. Oh yeah, way better.
Yeah. I was going to switch it over for you, man. Oh. Otherwise, you're going to have that slightly asymmetrical pull.
Oh, really?
You'll be fucked. No, it's fine. This is so much majoring in the minors, but if you're pulling slightly across your body and your arm travels like this, you will get that slightly better stretch to your lats. It's so tiny though, so if you don't have that option or you just don't want to do it, don't worry about it. All right, guys, so we are starting out with just a single arm pull down. We've got the bench here simply because we hit when we get into the full stretch, the weight bottoms out. So you don't need to use a bench like this, although I think you'd agree, Jackson, the diagonal pull is just that little bit better.
Yeah,
for
sure.
Lats,
it feels really good.
Vertical, yeah. Different strengths for different folks. Primarily, whenever you're doing a diagonal or a vertical pull, the big thing that you want to focus on when it comes to lats is not pulling the weight in or pulling the weight down, but having your elbows traveling more in an arc. It's a very different motion compared to, say, just same thing, pulling back, which would be, you can already see that's a lot of delt or a lot of, even bicep potentially. So we're trying to just hit this in a way that targets the muscles that we want, not everything else. How many sets do you like to do?
I usually do not even two sets,
Cool.
Very, very big advocate on a lower volume type of training sort of metric.
And you're deloading now, right? So
yeah, well that probably weight
like?
would be more than suitable, like 40%. So still where I'm working myself, but mainly because I'm being generally beat up. So it's a bit more based on are my joints sore, am I feeling tired, or am I losing motivation? So that's sort of my response was I'm generally just feeling sore and generally beat up, not really any joint pain. So therefore my load will just be pulled back, but not the sets as much. So so it's very, it's an easy way to sort of make sure that I'm still, just relaxing and enjoying training, but not to a point where I'm lifting nothing, So,
right.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I prefer the reverse. If I was deloading, which I don't really do as much anymore because I don't necessarily need it, but I would rather go as hard as I can as reduce sets.
Yeah.
Where I'd go from say 3 exercises down to just 1 and maybe have a rep in reserve instead of failure. But I can't go in and do an easy set because I'll be like, what am I doing? The fuck? It's gonna feel so weird, man. You're lifting the same weights as me, but whatever.
You know what? It's even as well making sure that my movement patterns are good. I'm a very big advocate of that, making sure I'm not, bitching it at all with the movement. Lifting heavy weight for years, you also get to the point where, it's yes, I can lift 200 kilos and something, but how about if I do 150 with impeccable form, or 200 as well with really good form?
Yeah, totally.
It's such a double-edged sword having big biceps. It's great having freakishly big arms, but then the offset of that, it's taking over from everything. Even my shoulders, I have huge delts and I don't shoulder press anymore. I'm not allowed to because it just takes away so much from my bench pressing. My ability to press an incline and stretch and really try to make sure I'm developing my pecs,
This kind of stuff is a waste of time for 99% of people when it comes to thinking about optimizing back over biceps or delts. For most people, you come in here and you're like, I want to grow a back. I'm going to say, just do your deadlifts, do your pulls, do your rows, do your verticals, whatever. Do it hard for long enough and you'll build a lot of muscle. But if you're of a certain level of advancement, or you're just having issues where your shoulders just take over all the time, your arms take over all the time, all these little details of the elbow travel, maybe going unilateral, maybe even you're changing your technique up to optimize things a little bit more, that's where it becomes relevant. Because it makes sense. Look how big your fucking delts are. Look how big your biceps are. but look how small your lats are comparatively. It's just, it is what it is. Like, for someone of that size, if you had that same mass, it looks so much different. And people think, oh, your back's such a big muscle. By actual muscle volume studies, your delts and triceps are the same size as your lats. And hey, like, if your goal is fucking thick back, you want a back wider than your mama, sometimes you gotta take a slightly different approach. But again, for a lot of people just getting in the gym, just fucking train, bro. If you guys have a hard time connecting with your lats, think about when you stretch up, separating your shoulder from your hip. You'll see Jackson does a really cool job of like reaching and almost tilting his body away. And then as he comes down, he's doing just that little bit of a crunch. These are like subtle things that people don't pay attention to. And like, you know, pull down's a pull down, but these little things can add up and make a big difference long term. Easy. Oh, as it should be, really man. Nice. As it fucking should be easy.
You know, I had at least 20 in me, like at least 20. But you know, again, when it comes to like, especially deloads or just training in general, actually, you know, because most people, you might not really need a deload that much. But for most of you guys out there, if you're training and let's say the rep range is 15, you stop at 15, but you got 5 more. But it's like 2 reps in reserve to failure. So the intensity's high, keep going, you know, push yourself. Because just because you have a number, it's a rough range, it's an estimate. But if you can push yourself beyond that, you want to do that. You're creating a new standard for yourself and setting performance goals, you know, unlike me.
I know, because you're at a very different level to most people.
Yeah.
So you need to take more frequent strategic deloads. But for most other people, how do you determine when they need a deload?
Look, you know, I think there's like at least 3 common ways to know. One would definitely maybe be like your joints being pretty sore, especially too if, you know, you're driving up load very, very quickly every week, which probably isn't the best idea. Number 2 would be your recovery. So you just feel like you're just generally more sluggish, a lot more tired. Like you get out of bed, you're feeling a bit like, oh, you know, like I'm still eating a lot of food. I'm trying to sleep a lot. I just can't get that, you know, that fresh feeling, you know, when I have like a week off gym. And probably third is as well, like maybe like motivation. I think any of those things, if you ask yourself any of those questions and it fits suitably the criteria, if you don't have a coach, I think it's good to maybe just have like a week to sort of chill out a bit, you know, let your body rest, because you're not gonna lose strength. You're actually gonna get stronger for when you go back to the gym. Nice straps, where are they from?
These, you know, I don't know where these came from, but they're just so incredibly comfortable. Like, you know, most straps, they end up like really digging in and cutting off circulation and they pinch your skin.
For sure.
Or they just fall apart.
Yep.
These just apparated into my gym about a decade ago.
Yeah.
And there's nothing quite like it.
You know what, I might give them a crack. I think I used them when I pulled 300 here, actually. I'm not a big fan of straps because some of them just don't feel good, but man, like, these ones actually feel really nice. They don't like dig into your hand and shit, you know? I'm the master of the plug. You know, we could be talking about fucking finance and I will somehow plug something of like a complete different nature to it. Easy one more.
Easy.
Oh, yeah. Having that bench on here is so much better.
Just the bracing, pushing against something.
I felt like my biceps weren't working as much when I had this one on.
Yeah.
That was great.
You look wider all of a sudden, man. I feel like, Jesus, it's just reversed everything, didn't it?
We've become a balloon. The lighting here as well is pretty nutty.
It's very motivating training in a place when you have good lighting.
And also too, it's nice and quiet, so you can just take your shirt off. It's like, yeah, like next minute in the gym, like you get like 5 like membership warnings. Like,
what kind of rows do you like?
Honestly, like I've never been really good at rows, so I can't really say that I enjoy them, but currently what I'm doing is like this session would be like a D handle, sort of like a T-bar row, something chest supported, just to make sure they're not swinging, you know, because in my other back day, it's like a bent over dead stop Smith machine row. So this would be something a bit more chest supported to really just get a lot of thickness in my back.
How do you quantify that you're not good at rows?
Aside from obviously looking at my physique, I think it's more based on like the numbers that I can set for myself. I think for me personally, if I had a good back, I could be lifting at least 20, 30 kilos more than what I'd be doing now. So for me, I think it's more based on the overall tonnage that I calculate on my spreadsheets. Like I got to track all my training. So then therefore that will sort of add up, and I'll have a look at compared to my other body parts, let's say like even quads or like something like shoulders and arms. So usually like if my lats aren't developing as much like overall tonnage and volume that I'm doing my arms or even my shoulders, like that's definitely when something's wrong and I need to really push it more. So
you'll say like, so for you guys, tonnage, you'd say that like sets times reps times weight, right?
Yes,
So if you do
for
10
sure.
reps, 10 sets, 100 kilos, that's 10,000 pounds or 10,000 kilos of tonnage. And you say that you might see your arms and your shoulders going up in tonnage, but your back or your lats might not.
Yes,
and then you'll say it's a row issue.
Even the rate as well. So like the big thing a lot of people don't look at is like the rate of your progress. So if my back and my chest aren't progressing at a rate that is fast as other things that are like my strong points, that's where I know I really need to pay more attention to it as well. That's why for myself, I'm very big on really trying to just be an animal when it comes to like trying to get more performance each week, whether that's like more reps, even like an extra set I sometimes get, or even just more weight. That'll probably be my last one though. So that's why I'm very big on just like trying to make sure that when it's all spreadsheeted out, like I can see that, okay, from week 1 to week 6, I've had at least 200 to 400 kilos in total volume incremented every time. I think when you apply the whole meathead method of intensity with training, plus you sort of have that total direction on the science base of having everything mapped out, you can really make some unreal gains in the gym.
Yeah, you've got to be strategic. Like comparing Jackson, like I'm nowhere near his level of muscular development, so I don't need to be as strategic. It's still cool to do that though. Like that's fucking exciting. If you're a nerd and you love that stuff, like I'd say anybody can do that kind of tracking. But definitely as you get to the elite level, everything matters. One thing from a growth perspective, but also just from an injury perspective. Maybe if you rode 250 kilos, you'll have a bigger back for sure. But what risk comes with that to your career if you got injured or just fatigue, other joints? And we've got to be really litigious about saying, where do you want to put that volume and how?
For sure.
All right, next up, we're doing a machine row. Don't have to do a machine row, you can do any kind of horizontal pulling motion. Love the chest support, helps you just lock everything in and really target. Today we're going for the upper back, so you have to target upper back, but you can also be targeting the lats depending on where you pull with your arms. One thing I've been playing with a little bit more recently that I found really effective for the upper back is keeping my spine position pretty locked in. So if you watch back, some older videos I used to do, I'd always talk about getting that big stretch and that round forwards, which I still think is fantastic. But I found that if I keep my body just static here, and instead of rounding, focus just on reaching my shoulder blades forwards, that gave me the extra upper back stretch. Whereas if I'm here and I just get the extra rounding, nothing changes in that mid-back, lower trap, rhomboid area. Not bad to round it, but I just got that extra little bit of a stretch in the upper back by locking myself in. Okay, plate arrangement on a machine like this does make a slight difference. Got 15 kilos here. It's very easy for me to hold it here, but if I hold the same weight out here, it's really hard on my body. That's kind of what's going on with these different weight loading pegs. Where you place the load dictates where in the range of motion as you pull, the row's hardest versus easiest. 90%, which is a made up statistic, but 90% of the exercises that you do for your back with free weights, chin-ups, pull downs, rows, barbell rows, cable rows, a lot of machine rows, they're all really, really challenging when you're here, but you can hang out here forever. Like going to a pull-up bar, you can hang there for a couple of minutes maybe. You can't hang up here for a couple of minutes. Same for a barbell row. You can hang there forever, not here. This is the reverse. When you're in the stretch position, because of how we're loaded things, in this mid to stretch position, it feels like your shoulder's about to be dislocated. And the only thing holding it together is your lats and your upper back. And they are fighting for their life to stop you from ripping every muscle or ripping them off the bone. Hang on, you're going first.
Let's go.
Me. Yes. Yeah, good. Awesome execution there. Perfect.
Oh yeah. Oh, that was unbelievable. Trying to make sure I hold in that stretch position as much as you can, It's easy to start just wanting to yank the weight.
Yeah. If I had to close down the gym for whatever reason, this would be the one machine I want to keep. This is the one thing that's always staying in my routine in some way, whether it's more of a lat focus or upper back, it just hits it.
Oh,
now,
for sure.
If you guys don't have a machine like this, the next best thing that's available in most commercial gyms would be a T-bar row. There's that machine there. If you don't have a T-bar row, even just getting a barbell, a landmine, popping into the corner of the gym, that has the same effect as what we're doing here, okay? Very basic old school exercise. Most gyms will have that set up. You can do it single arm as well. That's part of why John Meadows loved his Meadows rows so much. He didn't necessarily know the biomechanics of it, but that was a big reason why it felt so good. And of course, you know, there's nothing wrong with the basic chest supported dumbbell row. Simple. You're gonna grow a lot of muscle doing that as well, even without having this same weight change through the rep. But again, details. If you have it available to you, why not do it? Oh, fuck. So one bad, I don't want to call it bad, but one habit I've been trying to get over, maybe you're the same. When you're doing back, pull downs rows, it's so satisfying to just like squeeze it against hold it. It's just like,
yeah.
It's like, fuck yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Even just like for your posture, you're like, I feel more upright now. I've been trying to stop doing that and just spending as little time as I can in that squeeze and more on that hold and the stretch. Israel put me onto that when they were here start of the year. It makes sense, but it's something where like, fuck.
Yeah.
It's just hard to undo that habit.
For sure. Would you find sort of the saying that feel isn't always function an applicable
totally,
thing? For sure.
Totally.
Yeah.
It's so motivating. Like, you know, like when you get that squeeze, or you're doing like the Arnie concentration curl, you know?
Yeah.
It's so satisfying. Again, I've said this a few times already, but does it really matter that much? Probably not. Like, we're detail focused here, you don't have to be. Yeah, chasing that sensation all the time doesn't always lead to better outcomes, and it can lead to worse outcomes. Like, I guarantee, you guys watching this, if you pull your arm down towards your hip, but arch your back as much as you can, try to get that in, elbow into side, and then reach out, you'll feel your lat cramp up a fuck ton. That doesn't mean you should do a pull down like that. Just because it feels good doesn't mean it's gonna be leading to better outcomes.
Just pull the fucking shit.
Yeah. All right, so we're finishing up with triceps, which might be a little bit strange. People often go back and biceps, but we're doing back and triceps, simply because that's what my current training split is on Gambaru. But also because Jackson does have slightly lagging triceps compared to his biceps. So while he's down here, I might as well give him something a little bit different to hit these weaker muscle groups. Show me how you've been doing this extension of yours.
Oh, all right.
I'm curious.
So, I usually just grab this when I come up. I'll pretty much make sure that the cable is like pretty much bang on a line in the middle of my body. And then when I come over, I make sure that I keep my elbow elevated. I don't let like my shoulder come too high though at the same time. I try to keep it more locked in, otherwise I get elbow pain. And I have a strong extension just like that.
You're a tall man.
Yeah. Just like that.
I used to do it like that. Started doing them a little bit differently, and I'm curious how you find it. So I've just started recently using the post for stability. So you just did right side here,
just
extend.
come over. Yep.
I'll do this side and lock in. So exact same motion.
Yep.
But you can really, if you wanted to, go a full lean. And if you come behind me, you'll be able to see how much of a stretch is getting like right across my body. That's pretty extreme, like I'm being dislocated. But that's a pretty nasty stretch that you might like. And if you had elbow pain in the past, it's a really nice way to stabilize things.
Shit, let's go.
Yeah, I guess this is a work set.
Yeah, straight into the working set, balls deep.
Will do.
I'm just
It's gonna feel weird to you at
computing.
first. Yeah.
Like that.
So you got to face, which I faced that way, didn't I? Yeah, so face out.
Yeah. Like that. So I go over.
Yeah.
And then I lean up.
Yeah, put this against there.
Oh shit.
And then, you know, position your body wherever's comfortable.
Yeah, fuck.
Like you might want to go
like,
maybe more of an angle this way or that way.
Yeah.
Just fuck around with it.
You can see my mobility sucks.
Tip your body more this way, that might help.
That way?
Yeah, so almost like you're almost tucking your elbow in like that. That might be a
much
bit more
better.
comfortable.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So much harder.
Yeah.
But
like
my elbows don't hurt.
Yeah.
Oh, that's disgusting. Oh.
Glad you like it.
Yeah.
Hopefully it transforms your triceps.
Oh, it definitely will.
It'll be the one thing, you know, he'll get on stage and he'll win. And I'll be like, I'm really his coach, guys. It was me.
I'll just hit a side tricep and, you know, just to pay homage to Eugene here, you know.
Do you train alone normally?
Most of the time I do. I did have a training partner on prep, but he's got a broken hand right now, so he can't really do much. So yeah, I've been a bit of a lone wolf, unfortunately. Especially towards the end of prep, you know.
Yeah.
Those last 2 weeks, I like to really just coax into the gym and just chill, you know?
The one thing that I'm kind of proud of is my tricep strength. It's very strange, because I'm not an overly strong person, but triceps, relative to my other lifts, my triceps are strong. I'm like, this is weird.
What push down machine that you maxed out here? Was it here?
No, it was this cable.
Oh,
push down.
That's still
Yeah.
200 pounds, bro, what the fuck? Literally, he's fucking tricep extending 20 more kilos than his own body weight. That's fucked.
It's all in the pants, brother. It's all in the pants.
You remind me a bit of like an Alex Hormozy, you know? You wear clothes for the convenience and also the efficacy of them, rather than just like, I'm trying to be flashy, you know?
All about the efficacy, man.
I like that.
Maximum
Efficient.
efficaciousness.
Oh, this one's feeling better.
That's disgusting. Nice. Good stretch, man. Good stretch.
Oh yeah, that is.
Good stuff.
That actually felt better the more the sets went on, to be honest.
Yeah, I find just like your shoulders open up more.
Yeah.
Like, I don't
You
know
know,
what
I
it
can
is.
just like rest against it. I'm not like standing upright where
No,
I feel like I have to like almost lock my shoulders in when I'm doing it.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm just naturally in a position where I can just stretch it and extend and not have to worry about anything else.
Any opportunity we get to nap whilst training is a good one.
I remember that. Good old days in powerlifting.
Yeah.
4-hour squat session. I've genuinely eaten lunch one time in between the section when I was a powerlifter. Genuinely did, and it was McDonald's.
Oh, that's fucked. I think we're pretty good, hey?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some great stuff.
Simple, guys.